Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Brief. I'm your host, Aaron, all the way in New York. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Brad, over in sunny Manchester. We are back again, baby, for a Football Brief special. Let's get into it. How are you?
Hello. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Clink.
How's things?
Things are good. Things are good. Has anything happened over this side? I have a relatively newborn, and she's teething at the minute, so that's about as exciting as my life is right now, just dealing with that. And all those parents out there, new parents out there who have dealt with it or are about to deal with it, teething is a nightmare. So, yeah, just don't mention teeth to me on this episode, and I'll be fine. I might get slightly triggered.
Well, my boiler broke. If I can relate to pain and annoyance, got that fixed. But on the plus side, I've got new carpets, so it's all going on in the UK.
Boilers and carpets. Wow, what a wonderful life we lead. I remember it wasn't long ago that our Saturdays and weeks were taken up by far more interesting things than boilers, carpets, and teething babies.
And coffee.
Yeah, that's to keep us going. So yeah, welcome to the Football Brief special. This episode is mainly here to fill the void of the Premier League because, as we all know, it's another one of those international breaks. What are we on now? Is this number 3?
Yeah.
Number 3.
September, October, November. And not even just getting it all out the way, a 4-6 week camp or something, breaking up, bit of traction, bit of pattern of play within the league, and then bosh, you've just got 2 weeks out again. It's boring, man. It's boring. Anyway.
It's so boring.
I just hate it. It's just nothing to do. There's nothing to look forward to. Oh, Greece on a Thursday night. Oh, God. It's just boring.
Well, the idea of this episode is that we're going to speak a bit about the Nations League and some things around it. And we're gonna conclude whether it's fine, good, or it's a complete waste of time. I think I already know what the answer is going to be, but stick with us, enjoy the episode, and find out. Before we get fully started, have to mention, I know it's not the usual episode, and usually we do some sort of headline and brief opinions, but we're not going to do that as such. But this is a headline that is worth mentioning because it's something as two Englishmen and as two people that love football, have lived it all our lives. Gary Lineker, the host of Match of the Day, has announced that he's going to step down from his role after, I think, 25/26 years. That's a big, big story, man. I don't care what anyone
says. Big void to fill, big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. I guess my question to you is just on this one quickly. Who replaces him?
Well, the presenter from the Sunday one's the running favourite at the moment, isn't he?
I actually don't know who that is. I've been out of the UK for a while, and I don't get BBC over here, which sucks.
I think his name's Mark Chapman, something like that.
Chapman.
So he's the running favourite at the moment.
I know.
And I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think he does a good job. But BBC are also talking about having a rota of staff, but basically taking in turns to present. Yeah, I was the same.
No.
I wouldn't really be a fan of that. You need stability. But look, big shoes to fill. Like with anything, though, I think probably come to its natural end. It needs a little bit of a mix-up and a shake-up. Demographics are changing. And we're also in a world now where you can access replays immediately. It's a little bit archaic. I mean, I love watching it. I usually watch it on a Saturday morning. I record it and then watch it on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning with a coffee. So yeah, I think staying, waiting until kind of 10:30 when 10:15 used to be, you'd look forward to it. I still do, but I watch it in a different way now. So I think the times are changing and the presenter needs to reflect that.
Fair enough. That's it's very true. I think, I agree. The way the content is consumed nowadays, it is very different. And I think Match Today has done very well to stay relevant to a point. I don't know if it's running off tradition and, the iconic theme tune, but it
still gets good figures, though.
Still there, isn't it? So I think fair play to Gary Lineker, and like you say, I think maybe it's come to a natural end. He will be missed, but after, I think it's agreed that from the football brief, it's a thumbs up for Mark Chapman. So if anyone of any importance at the BBC is listening or watching, chappers for the role.
Yeah, Gary's always got Walkers to fall back on.
he has. So we're gonna have to talk about it because that's why we're here. That's why we've got out of our beds and put our clothes on today to speak about this Nations League. We also need to speak about Tuchel, actually. So, I mean, we can get into the game itself and like what that's going to embody over the next sort of week or so. But just on a positive, because it's good to start with positives. England have announced that Thomas Tuchel is going to be the new England manager. He doesn't take post until January, which is split opinion. I mean, I don't really care, but I know a lot of people out there think he should have started immediately, and it's such a big hoo-ha why he's on holiday and all this. What's your initial thoughts on Tuchel?
Guy needs a break.
Yeah, you know he does. But what's your initial thoughts on Thomas Tuchel being England manager?
I think if you're looking at it in terms of his pedigree, he's only been given a contract till just after the World Cup, so he's clearly been brought in to win, which is what he does. He, with Bayern Munich, I think he had a 68% win rate. Chelsea won he got to the FA Cup final, won the Champions League, but also got to the FA Cup final and Champions League final in consecutive seasons with them. He was the first coach to do that with two different clubs. So, yeah, managed 63 Premier League games for Chelsea, 56% win rate. I think that's decent. So, PSG, 75% win rate. He's got the stats to back it up. And I think if we're looking at big competitions as well, so UEFA Champions League, that's all we can really compare something like the World Cup to. He's managed 67 matches in the UEFA Champions League, and he's won 40 of them. So, you're looking at there or thereabouts a 55% win rate, So I think he's obviously been brought in to win something, and I think he's probably one of our best chances of doing so with the squad that we've got.
Where do you stand on the whole English coach versus foreign coach managing England? Does it bother you?
Not really. I think we should go for the best in class as a team. I don't think it really matters. Yeah, for me. I mean, look, it's a challenging topic because, of course, let's say England, Germany get to a final, he's going to be the villain regardless, and it's not. I believe somebody of Thomas Tuchel's stature has enough professionalism to not let that impact anything. He'll go out to win the game regardless. But if he wins with England, he'll be vilified by his own country. And if he loses, it'll be, he's German, he never wanted to win. So I think he's taken on a big challenge, but that's what Tuchel does. He's a big enough character. I think he's got good relationships with a lot of the players as well from his time in the Premier League. And he comes with great pedigree. So, yeah, let's hope he can win something. And I have no issue with him being foreign. It's best in class. And if that's what the FA felt he was at the time from those available, then good luck to him. And I'm excited to see what he can do once we get past this absolutely ridiculous friendly season with a bloody 2-2 on to try and dress it up.
That's a very interesting way of describing it, and it paints a really weird image in my head. Just to wrap up on Tuchel, just my thoughts on it. I have to agree with you. I mean, you know me, right? Ever since Tuchel walked into Chelsea and picked up the team that Lampard had and couldn't do much with, and got them to a Champions League trophy, and
yeah, they were honestly that season they must have been 11th, 12th, something like that. They had no prospects, were going nowhere fast. They were just losing games consecutively. And then Tuchel came in, man. He did bits. He won a Champions League with them. So yeah.
I just think watching him do that, and also just the way he carried himself, and I love
the way he interacts with the media.
Yeah. One of my big things was when obviously the whole Chelsea scandal, the whole thing with their ex-owner Roman Abramovich was happening, and Tuchel was having to front all that up in the media, and he was getting posed these questions, which really it wasn't his job to answer, but the way he carried himself and the way he answered those questions, and I don't say muted the media, but just handled them very well. And I just thought, do you know what? He seems like a good all rounder. I know there's a lot of noise around him, and I know he sort of left Chelsea abruptly, and we don't really know why. And people inside are like, he's a bit of he can be hard to work with. But I just think,
I
from
think
what
a
I
lot of
saw
that
of
was
him,
the Bowley as well. Like you saw that he wanted to come in and put a
yeah,
stamp and get Potter in for his manager. So, but yeah, look, he managed that really well. In
I
the middle
thought,
of a
yeah. So I'm all for,
middle of a sanction from government craziness.
yeah, I know, but I'm all for Tuchel for England. I can't wait to see what he does. But like you say, that's not going to happen straight away because we have this little thing in between called the Nations League.
It's not even a real thing. It's not. It means nothing.
I still don't know what the Nations League is. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I'm sorry if I sound really dumb. I'm doing a podcast here. I should know things, but I don't know what the Nations League. I don't care to know, really. So I
Yeah.
just don't. For me, it's a waste of time. But prove me wrong.
So I can't. It's a bit of a farce. It was only established in 2018. It's another way of UEFA trying to just absolutely monetize the hell out of the game. And it was bought in. If you remember, we used to have friendlies, and it wasn't split over 3 months either. But we used to have an international break for friendlies to take place. I think it might have been something like a 3 or a 4 week camp where we play, multiple games. But they were just friendlies. So in 2018, UEFA bought the Nations League in to replace these friendlies, but then they had to make them competitive in some way. So they introduced the results of these games would count towards the UEFA rankings of the teams that play within this league. There's 4 different categories, A, B, C, and D. Based on your rankings, you divide it in. So now it does have impact to where you're ranking as to where you sit within different pots and pools in major international competitions, which is why there's a relevance to where England finish in their group as to who they may or may not play in the World Cup. So, and qualification for the World Cup and how many games they might have to play for that, because it all depends on their ranking. So, yeah, they've basically just come up with a really, really boring way to dress a friendly up and make it relevant. And it's just, I mean, we may as well have just, Lee Carsley, we may as well have just picked our under 21s to turn up here. Most of the senior team are out anyway. Can't even bother to go.
That
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. We're coming
me,
into crunch time. You're playing in, let's say you're playing in, 4 different competitions, a very high level, whether it's Europa League or Champions League, European competition. You're playing in the Premier League. You're playing in 2 cup competitions, maybe even 1 or 2, but 3 or 4 competitions you're in, and you've got to send your key players away. Just as we're building up to one of the busiest fixture times of the season, coming into the Christmas period, sending them away for international games against Greece and bloody Ireland. Oh.
So this is the thing then, right? So at the minute, there's been a lot of clamour from professionals, players in the game saying there are too many fixtures. I've been an advocate for
get rid of these then.
Yeah, I've been an advocate for let's not scrap Champions League games. I don't mind the new format. There's more games, but that's fine in my opinion. But it's these games now, because you're not only playing these games, you're also putting air miles in the legs of these players, because some players are traveling all the way around the world. Let's not forget. So they're coming back and they're tired. And I don't care what people say about getting paid X, Y, and Z. You are only human. You're still going to be tired traveling to Australia or traveling to South America. Like, it's not, like, and I don't care, private jets, this, and they're getting food and water and all this lovely thing, but it's still going to be a lot. So is this evidence of there being too many games? Because like you rightfully said, there's a bit of an injury crisis now. Are these players really, really injured, or is it clubs sort of like putting their foot down and saying, do you know what? They've got a slight niggle, but I don't want you going over there now. Like, we would rather you stay at the club. We're going to monitor you. Rest up, because like you just said then.
Well, players making that decision, maybe not the man. Yeah, we may not be in the days of Fergie anymore. I mean, we've all heard the pros from United back in that day come out and say that, sometimes Fergie would have a slight influence or make a comment or just blanket refuse to let them go to England friendlies and things like this, or that he'd ring the England manager at the time and have a discussion with them about, negotiate, you can have this and this player, but you're not having these players, especially around this time of year. But I think the players as well, they want to play every game. They want to be decorated, and they'll turn up for the competitions, but these are glorified friendlies. So no, I do think it's a tough ask of them.
And these are players, by the way. These aren't just I don't want to sound harsh on players that are in the England squad, but these aren't fringe players. You've got Palmer, Rice, Holwell, Foden, Saka, Grealish, Alexander-Arnold, Ramsdale. Like, these are players that, that's not half. That's like the majority. That's the spine.
That's what I said. You may as well just send the under-21s, bro.
Well, on that, there has been one call-up which is close to my heart. I'm a big fan of this player. Morgan Rogers, congratulations, because you've got, I think, a deserved call-up.
Cheers, Middlesbrough. Thank you, Middlesbrough.
Circumstantial. Yeah, Middlesbrough fans, and I know we have two friends who are Borough fans, and when Rogers was first linked, do you remember in our WhatsApp group, I said, oh, can I get a bit of intel on Rogers? And I think one of our friends was like, yeah, he's okay, not done much, not pulling up trees, but, you can have him for the price. Well, thank you very much for the price, because it's been a snippet. I'm sure there's add-ons included now that he's made.
Look, even if it's 12, 13, 14 million quid you paid for him, he's been an absolute steal for what he's done for Villa.
You really have, yeah.
Actually, speaking about under-21s as well, as we're on that topic, did you see the Bristol, is it Bristol Motors Cup, the under-21s Cup? So I think this was the first time that a lot of the big clubs have entered teams into this, and out of 16 of the new clubs that were entered, 15 of them got knocked out last night. And the night before, there's only one left, and it is Aston Villa, under-21s. Even though they lost last night 3-0, they lost the match, but they won the tie. So
yeah, I did see that.
Also, I just kind of don't get under-21s. Can someone explain that to me? Because last time I checked, I've seen 17-year-olds playing in senior squads. Like, what? Like, if you're not in a senior squad by 21, like, what are you doing with yourself?
If you're not in a senior squad by 21?
That's what I mean. Like, what is the whole purpose of under-21s? Because if you're that good, you're Mainu, your Garnachos, your Wayne Rooney's. If you're that good, you just get into a squad anyway. So what is the actual purpose? I get developing youth and everything, but surely cut that off at 18. Like, if you've not made it by 18, man, you've not made it, right? Or I just don't understand under-21s.
But there's been a lot of stories and a lot of cases where just because one club doesn't fancy you at 18, and at that point you've been playing football all your life, so you've got a bit about you. But then what you don't offer to one club, another club can pick up, and then you then go on to blossom and become a great player. It's a cutthroat business, really, especially in the academy. As I've got a couple of friends back in England who their sons are in the academy. One was in the Villa. I think he's just moved over from the Villa academy actually to the Man United academy. It's a cutthroat business because you get to the end of the season, it's like, we're going to keep you, we're going to retain you, or we're not. And then you get released, and it's about then trying to find clubs. So I think there's a lot to be said for academy.
It just gives them that extra opportunity to try and find a club, I suppose, then, does it?
Yeah, exactly.
I see Greece tomorrow. I'll throw out a score prediction with our threadbare, barren squad. I'm going to say Morgan Rogers for a goal, and I'm going to say England 3-1.
Fair. I don't know if he'll start. But I mean, well, mind you, there's no one left in the squad, so Morgan Rogers might have to start. Yeah.
Is Kane in the squad?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Kane's there.
Of course he is. That guy could have a broken leg and not have played in 6 months, and he'd still be called up.
This is the annoying thing with Kane as well. Like, Tuchel loves Kane because he brought him to Bayern Munich. So, like, just when I thought Kane's maybe coming to the end of his England career and we can start trying to, blood some fresh youngster in there, Tuchel comes in and for a fact he's going to pick. Look, Kane's a goal scorer.
Yeah, but you say that, right? And I'm sure Tuchel and him are good mates, but I don't know, man. I think he could come in, and what happens if he blames him a bit for the fact that he didn't win anything at Bayern Munich for that season? He'd have cost him his job. He was a big part of it.
Yeah, true. Maybe the first thing he does is think, do you know what? I know why you're not winning things. You've got Harry Kane in the squad. He's allergic to winning trophies. Get rid of him.
Yeah, he's never been worried about upsetting people either, has he, really?
No. So you're saying 3-1, Morgan Rogers to score. Greece, they beat us last time, but I don't think that will happen again. I think Lee Carsley, I don't know, may have learned from his mistake. Who knows? Is he going to play the striker this time? Is he not? Is he? We don't know what's going to happen. I think we'll win 2-0. I think it'll be 2-0. I don't think it'll be completely comfortable, but I think we'll just do enough. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I think we'll get 2 goals.
Give me a goal scorer.
A goal scorer. I need to think who's there. Ollie Watkins. We're going to full Villa here. Ollie Watkins.
I don't think he's in the squad.
He is.
You sure?
Because Konza, Watkins, and Rogers, three villains, are representing the country. Don't test me on this.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I thought I'd seen that he was out. I thought he'd ruled himself out.
I mean, in an ideal world, I'm happy for Rogers, but I really didn't want him to get called up because the last few games he's been looking quite leggy for the Villa, and I just think, does he need to play these games? But obviously for him, it's a really joyous occasion. Watkins and Konza have not been on form either. I'd rather them not go, but it's just annoying. But
Bro, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Right, well, mind you, the England squad's pretty bare of United players at the minute. I'm excited to see what Amorim can do. A little bit of hot United news as well. Apparently, Anthony has made a mutual agreement with the club to be quite actively on the market in January with the view to leaving the club. Exactly. You know that guy that just spins constantly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, good for him and good for United because he's been an absolute waste of money. As he sort of falls into the category of your Sanchos and your Antonys and these wingers that have come with a big reputation have done.
Yeah, Sancho's done nothing at Chelsea as well, man. He can jog on with this stupid Instagram post of a bald-headed man waving goodbye. You've done nothing at Chelsea. You did nothing when you went on holiday to bloody Netherlands and tried to chill out a bit, get off social media. You did nothing when you came back. You did not that much for Dortmund, didn't even win anything with them, but you had about 20 minutes of good games in the Champions League. Now you've done nothing at Chelsea, played a couple of games here and there, did absolutely impress nobody.
I think he got, in all fairness, I think he got a couple of assists in his first couple of games at Chelsea, then got injured. But I'm not defending Sancho because I've watched him at Old Trafford with you many times. I never understood how he got into the England squad. And also, like,
who signed him? Who are our scouts blind?
He just seems really, really like petulant. Like, to put that Instagram post, like, dude, show some professionalism, man. Like, we get it. You had a bit of a fallout, and maybe you were in the right, and that's fine if you were. But like, don't be petty and put things on social media. Like, you do that in high school. You do that with like, a girl and a boy. Like, oh, I'm going to indirect message. Like, grow up, mate. Grow up.
Honestly.
So yeah. Okay, well that's good for you. Good for you, boys. Well, all this talk about the Nations League, it just all sounds like you've got Lee Carsley, interim manager, boring. Glorified friendlies, boring. We're essentially playing for rankings, boring. There's no players. No one's going to be on show because all the star players are out, injured, boring. No offense to players that are playing, but like, what is there to get excited for?
If I wanted to tune in and watch Jared Bowen and bloody Branthwaite play, I'd watch Everton and West Ham at the weekends. You know what I mean? I don't want to watch them. Don't want to.
I know.
For God's sake, man.
I have to say, look, fair play to the diehard fans that travel all that way. I think it agree. Yeah, it's away at Greece.
Greece away, and then Ireland at home.
Someone's got to fly the flag, and it's not about us not being patriotic, but come on, it's so boring. And you know what annoys me as well? Somehow the game will creep on my TV. It's somehow just there in the background, and I find myself slowly gravitating towards it. And I watch it, and then I get peed off with myself, annoyed with myself because I'm like, why am I watching this? I get frustrated. I'm like, this is boring, and I have myself to blame. So like, you know what? Yeah.
I have to say as well, though, my experience with England, they're the most underwhelming, underperforming, underachieving team I've ever watched play football. Even when they win, they're boring. Even like I've seen on one hand, I can count the exciting games that I've watched for England where I've been on the edge of my seat. We don't play that kind of football. And then you see, maybe a better coach than Lee Carsley could do more with that squad. That was just a mess. 5 number 10s on the pitch. You're lucky to even get your job back at under 21s after that shambles. What are you doing?
Yeah,
and if you're going to put them on the pitch, at least define their areas. They were just all... Oh, honestly, it was like watching under 4s play.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew where they were meant to be. Everyone running into each other, clogging up each other's space. Anyway, so boring. Get it over and done with. Get the Prem back. Let's go.
The good thing is as well, after this break, the Prem is back then. I think the next international break won't be until March. So we just have a straight run now through to March of just pure Premier League football.
Depending.
Wait, what do you mean, depending?
So, depending. Again, Nations League rules. So this is the whole argument.
What do you mean?
This is the whole argument, right? Is depending where we finish in our group, and given that we lost to Greece already, we have to win these two. So if we don't finish top in our group, as I understand it, that means we'll have to play an extra qualifier game in February. So that's why we need to finish top, so that we don't have an international break again until March.
Hello?
Promise you, man, that's the way this works, bro.
Mate,
this is how they've tried to make it more competitive, by basically enticing you not just with ranking, but playing less games. And, if you don't finish here, then you have to do a little playoff thing for the qualifiers.
This is like some punishment. Like, why? Like, this is... No one's asked for this.
No one wants this. Mate, no one did with the leagues. The league table systems throughout all of the UEFA European competitions this year. They're just... Stop. It's not broken, man. You're broken as an institution. Stop trying to fix something that's not broken, man.
You know what you've just done now. You saying that we need to win, because if we lose both games, or if we don't finish top of the table, we have to play in the playoffs.
We play in February. I don't know if it's actual playoffs, but I just know we have to play an extra game, or maybe two.
So now I really want England to win, and I know the argument or the attitude should be I should want my country to win every game. I really don't care, but
I just want an extra month off from international break.
I don't want to be going back in Feb, mate. That's burst my bubble. That's really burst my bubble.
Sorry, man. I am sorry about that.
That's horrendous. UEFA, sort it out. Like, players, boycott the Nations League now. You get called up, say I'm not playing. Just say you're not playing.
Sort it out. MOL, sort it out. VAR coming out and apologising is not good enough. Don't get involved. Stop it. Yeah, it's annoying. You're just getting wrong decisions and then backing them up with, poor advice to the referees. It's ridiculous. And control your other refs that are saying ridiculous things on camera. Absolute state of it at the moment, man. Premier League in every lawsuit going, docking points here, docking points there. City dropping pages out the judgment. Yeah. Absolute state of English bloody football at the moment. It's on its knees. I never thought I'd say this. I cannot wait for the independent regulator to come in. And actually, IFR, the independent football regulator, I have a little bit of inside news that apparently the bill is ready, all drawn up, and all it needs to do now is go into the houses and get signed off. But it's ready to go, and pretty much it'll be, from what I understand, kind of end of Q1, Q2 next year when we're going to start seeing some actual traction on that getting introduced. And I welcome it at this point. Why shouldn't we? Financial Conduct Authority regulates finances. Why shouldn't we have an independent body?
And that's fine, but I feel like this independent regulator has been coming in for the last 10,000 years. Are they actually going to come in now? So you're saying
they're coming in? The bill's there. It's ready to go.
Okay,
it's going to get signed off by Parliament. It's done, and it's passed as law that the IFR, independent football regulators, will have powers over the Premier League and the clubs within. So I welcome it, man. I absolutely welcome it. Like I say, the FCA is the Financial Conduct Authority over here. Yeah. Any big powerhouses, pharma has regulations it has to adhere to, construction, certain levels of quality of materials and imports into Europe. Why shouldn't we have that with one of our most valuable products, which is the Premier League and the English triangle of football, the English pyramid,
No, very well said. And the governing bodies, the footballing governing bodies over here, over there, yeah, they need to fix up. Because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of questions that have been asked and answers haven't necessarily been given. So
they never really are. Sort it out. FIFA's the same. Now, how is it just widely accepted that FIFA is still a governing body, yet Netflix have made millions on multiple documentaries about corruption that's very widely and openly spoken about and been proven, yet nothing's happened? Sepp Blatter just steps down. The guy should be in jail. The Tony Blair of the football world. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
On that note.
Yeah. No. FIFA. We could do a whole episode on FIFA and UEFA and the scandal that is. But look.
If you guys would be interested in that, actually drop us some comments, because if it is an area of interest, we'll happily go and crunch the data, bring the stats to you, and do a little special on the old FIFA corruption.
No, definitely. No, definitely. So just to conclude and wrap up the episode, Nations League, keep or get rid?
Bin.
Bit- I don't need to ask why. Yeah, the football brief concludes that the Nation League needs to be scrapped because it's a waste of time. It's boring. Players aren't invested. Fans aren't invested. No one's invested. Just say bye. Um, anything else you want to add, or are you done?
No, I think I'm done. That's yeah, enough enough negativity about a pointless competition for one night, I think.
Hopefully we've vented enough. We've sort of vented our thoughts and opinions, and we've reflected that of a lot of fans that I know are of similar feeling towards the Nations League. Um, just before we sign off, I just do want to say a big shout out to some of our listeners and viewers as well. We've had some listeners over in Germany, Denmark, Canada, which look, I know we're very new to this, and this is in its infancy right now, but those those clicks, those likes, and the viewings that we do get means a lot. So thank you very much. Just keep sticking with us. We have a lot of exciting things to come, a lot of ideas that we're putting forward, and yeah, we're only going to keep growing and getting better. So just keep tuning in, enjoy, share, check us out on social media platforms, and yeah, man, it's we enjoy doing it, and we want to keep giving you the news and our opinions on it. So just from the football brief, thank you very much.
Stay safe, people. Stay safe.
And as always, pleased to brief you.